Many of us remember of trying to get light on our non-lit Gameboy screens back in the day. When I was in the back seat of a car, I used to wait for the street lights each time passing by to see what move I was going to pick on Pokemon Blue or Silver. But when I got the Game Boy Advance SP, that all changed. We could finally play anywhere we wanted, in the dark, in the light, still bring it in our pockets every day, and now with the added benefit of keeping the screen protected. Nowadays, that screen looks pretty rough, but there is some options to fix that. We could do a screen mod, or we could look to retro gaming handhelds. This is where the Anbernic 34XX SP comes in. This device just nails the feeling I used to get whenever I'd pick up the SP. With it being almost the exact same dimensions, almost the exact same weight, just a little bit heavier. It's just a tiny bit bigger. It is heavier at 178 grams versus 142, but it's almost the exact same design. The only difference in the design would be just the ribbed texture on the back, like a old school Game Boy, but it's pretty nice because it does give you some extra grip. I know a lot of people are complaining about the forehead on the front of the device, but honestly, with the black model, I don't even notice it at all. There's a lot of small devices now that have amazing screens, but on this device, it's pretty special for GBA. With it keeping the 3:2 aspect ratio like GBA, and it also has 3 times the resolution of a GBA. So far for me, it's the perfect GBA screen. I've seen a lot of reviewers want the 4:3 aspect ratio instead of this, just like the 3.5 XXSP, but honestly I didn't have any problems at all playing my 4:3 content on this. But generally I was just always booting up GBA on this. It's kind of all I wanted to play on this particular handheld, and it's kind of dedicated to that now. Saying that, you can play N64 sort of. You can play PS1. That runs pretty well, or anything below those consoles is going to run awesome and look awesome too. Saying all that, I'm not sure we needed sticks on this device. It really is meant to be a GBA first, but they're there, they do work. I actually like the texture on them, but I didn't use them much. Speaking of controls, the buttons are awesome. They actually nailed that similar feel to the GBA SP. I'd say they're a little bit more harder to press, but it's so close. I had the second version model of the 35XXSP, and even that I found those buttons a little bit fatiguing for me, but on this it's not fatiguing like that. It reminds me more of the original. D-pad's also very similar to the original, same as the buttons, but the shoulder buttons are more clicky than the original, but they're not too loud. One thing I don't see mentioned all the time is that it has room for a headphone jack now, because on the original, that's where you would insert the game. Now we have actually a tiny bit more space. Either way, it's pretty cool that you can use it as a music player too if you want. I'm not sure if people really remember the dongle that you needed to use on the original SP, but yeah, no need for that now. Just to mention some other specs and features, it has a 35 milliamp hour battery, it has Bluetooth, it has HDMI out. So theoretically, you could set this up with SyncThing, get all your cloud saves going, get your retro achievements going, or connect some Bluetooth controllers and actually hook it up to a TV and have it as a little console. This has the tried and true H700 chip, which is in every single one of Anbernic's devices almost. But oddly enough, this has 2 gigabytes of RAM instead of 1 like all their other devices. This doesn't really change much in the grand scheme of things, but I've seen some crazy stuff, like people getting GameCube games to run on this, or boot, I should say. That was more for fun and testing purposes, but it's still amazing to see. Now, talking about the hinge and how it feels to use every day, it feels almost the exact same as the original SP, except just a little stiffer. It looks like they copied it the best they could, and it seems to be standing the test of time unlike some other brands. You can run with the stock firmware that comes on this device, and it comes with a lot of games too. But I settled on MuOS or Mustard OS because originally that had the best sleep function at the time. So the way I use it is I usually just leave it on sleep function when you close the lid instead of powering it down every time. And honestly, the battery lasts so long that I would never change that to just shutting it off. It makes it the best pick up and play. You just tap the power button, open it up, and away you go. I also like MuOS because I can make it look like MIUI still, make it just super minimal, easy to get to my games, and just go. And that's why pretty much this is my favorite everyday carry retro handheld if I were to take it. I don't take it with me every day, but honestly, putting this in my pocket, it's like it's not there sometimes. And for my day job, I'm always on the go, so whenever I get a minute or I'm waiting, I can bust this open and play 20 minutes, play 10 minutes, and put it right away. It's perfect. Only thing I would change on these is basically just probably getting rid of the sticks, unless we can get like a little Android version of this where it's actually a bit more powerful. But honestly, I don't need the sticks, and as light as we can make it, if we can make it as light as the original, that's the only thing I would change about this. This thing's awesome.